Today we're going to talk about the Road Rash series on the Sega Genesis. I had the original one growing up, but I never really played the second or third one. So my Mega SD, I pulled them up and I started playing them here recently. Well, the first one is a beloved classic. I mean, everybody always dug it. You had your combat element, the controls were kind of slippery on it, you could slide off the road pretty easy. A few obstacles in the roadway, stuff like that. But all in all, it was a good game. I always loved the music in it. Even though it's very tinny music, it still sounds really good. So anyway, I went back and played it, and I still dig it. I still like it. It's still a ton of fun. I have no real problems with it, other than the slippery controls. It takes some getting used to. Now, on the second one, I got it. I played it. The controls are way tighter. I mean, 100% tighter. You don't slide all over the place like you did on the other one. It's very responsive. It is a lot more combat focused. You start off the game automatically fighting more people than you did on the first one. It's way smoother. The graphics are way smoother. The music I don't like as much, but that's not really that big a deal. The areas, like in the first one, are still varied. You feel like you're in a different place, all that kind of stuff. It's a really good game. I do think they stepped it up quite a bit with the second one. I am partial to the first one still because that's the one I always played. Second one, though, realistically, it is a better game. Now, in saying that with the first and second one, you would think the progression, or the first one was good, the second one got a little better, the third one would be even better. Well, it didn't. It blows. They got away from your standard graphics and they got all into the digitized thing. It reminds you a lot of like what Mortal Kombat was trying to do and Pit Fighter. Way slower game. Graphics are terrible. The foreground's terrible. The landscape is terrible. There are way more obstacles in the road. The music's terrible. I mean, all in all, I didn't even look and see who developed the game. I don't know if it's the same developer. It's still an EA game, I know that much. But it is a severe departure from the first or second one. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this game, how bad it is, but I mean, it's just, it's not even worth playing. I mean, I can't stand it. But anyway, taken from all this, the first and second one definitely must plays. Still awesome games. But now Jeff's played them too. So I'm going to hand it over to Jeff, and he could have a vastly different opinion than I, but I don't see how. But let's see what he thinks about it.
Okay, so Matt calls me up the other day, and he's like, okay, I want to do a video on the Road Rash 1, 2, 3 series. And I'm like, all right. I remember Road Rash. It was pretty good, back then. I thought it was pretty cool. You get to fight people and run from the cops and even beat up the cops. You get busted. We just, that was pretty unique for the time. And so I was like, all right. So I popped in Road Rash 1 for the Genesis, and I started playing it. My immediate thoughts were, this game freaking sucks. This is terrible. The graphics suck. The music sucks. Everything sucks about it. And I wasn't even having fun because I was just so just hated the graphics. I was appalled by it. I know that, EA was just starting out with their making cartridges for video game systems back then. I know they're a powerhouse now, but back then they were rather generic. To me, it seemed. But we had fun playing it. So anyway, I just saw, this sucks. So I played a couple of levels and I moved on. So I moved to Road Rash 2, and it was a little bit better. Still thought the graphics were crap. They were just trash. And the music I didn't pay any attention to. I just thought, man, this is terrible. So played a few levels on that. Then I moved on to Road Rash 3. Matt told me they used the digitized stuff on there, so there's a very poorly done digitized screen, their intro screen. And I thought, well, that's sucky, and so I started playing the game, and if you didn't know that they had digitized the the characters and everything in there, you probably wouldn't be able to tell because it's still just blocky crap. They didn't utilize the Genesis color palette to the full extent. The Genesis, I'm going to say it had a very limited color palette compared to the Super Nintendo. That's a discussion for a whole nother day. But, I mean, I just thought, good Lord, man, these graphics suck. So I moved on and I played Hang On just to see what, compare it to another classic motorcycle game. And, the graphics there, they weren't anything spectacular, but so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna give it another shot. But first I played the 3DO version, and the title screen has Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, so I was like, heck yeah, I remember that. And I love that song, Soundgarden's awesome. But so then I went back and I played 1, 2, and 3 again. All right. The second time around, I could look past the just terrible freaking graphics, and I had a little bit of fun, and I played a few more levels on each one. And so basically, my opinion of Road Rash is it sucks. But, I mean, if you don't mind really horrible graphics and everything, the gameplay, it controls well. It's pretty cool that, whenever you wreck, your guy has to run up to his motorcycle, and you can actually control him. I wrecked going over a hill, and I couldn't see where my motorcycle was, and I started moving my character back and forth, and then next thing I know, I was running the wrong way, away from my motorcycle. My son actually had to be like, your motorcycle's on the other side of the hill. So anyway, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, that it was very unique for its time, being able to beat people up, take their crowbar from them and hit them with it, their chain, whatever. Then the police come and you can beat the police up. That was huge back then. And then, you wreck if a cop's chasing you, you get busted. And so, it was pretty cool. So I guess out of 16 bits, I would give Road Rash 4 bits. And speaking of bits, Road Rash, the graphics, to be a 16-bit game, it almost looks 8-bit, but a little bit better. So, like if there were a 12-bit system, that's what Road Rash looked like to me. Like I say, EA was still in its infancy as far as making cartridges go. They'd done stuff for the Amiga and all kinds of the computers and stuff of the 80s, but they just, they kind of come out of the gate not swinging. But anyway, I mean, heck, they did their best, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But I will play Road Rash again at some point, maybe. But it's not like I'm going to wake up in the morning and be like, man, I wish I was freaking playing Road Rash now instead of going to work.